All right, listen up. A couple of announcements before we get started on section 3.1. For you guys, this is Black 6. You will see your test at the end of the hour. Black 9, you'll be watching this today. You will see your test next time, and you will be grade sheets today showing your test score. Today we're covering 3.1, so you need to be on page 116, and all of you need a graphing calculator, either yours or one of mine, but you need that out right now. You need to change some settings on it. Also, we will grade your 2.7 and your chapter review this morning. Black 9, you guys will keep yours until next time. So do not lose those. I will not be in class today, so I'll grade those when I get back. So on your calculators, all you need to do is make sure that that n equals app is running. Okay, so hit your X key. Go down to number 7 on the yellow calculators, the n equals, and hit enter. Just make sure it's running. If it says it's running, click continue. Hit your X key, go down to n equals, make sure it is running. That's all you need to do. If it's running already, you're good. And after you push enter for continue, it should take you to that. Another thing, you guys in here right now, if your calculators aren't working, if something's not going right, just hold off until I get done with the notes, because I don't want a long lag, because Black 9 has to watch this today. So just bear with me as we go through these notes. If you got a problem, most of them will work fine, I'm sure. If you do have an issue, just hold off till I get done with the notes. So, starting section 3.1, solving systems by graphing. There are only 5 sections in this chapter, and they are all very similar. The goal is the same pretty much all the way through the chapter. You just have different methods to get to the goal. The first method we will be using is graphing, and we are solving systems. Does anybody know what a system of equations is? You've done them before. Solving systems just means more than one equation. So one or more than one, or 2 or more, however you want to look at that. And for the first 2 sections, it's just 2 equations. So a system just means 2 equations. You are solving 2 equations. So what does it mean to solve them? Find where they intersect, the point of intersection. Your goal in this section, in this chapter, is find where the 2 lines cross. Okay? That's the goal. The final goal is find where they cross. So your answers, for the most part, will be a point. That's where the 2 lines intersect on the graph. So for the first 2 sections anyway, that's what all your answers will be, a point. Okay? The goal is to find where the 2 lines intersect. So if we're graphing them, you're just going to graph the 2 lines, tell me the point where they cross. You guys will not even understand how fortunate you are that we're using the calculators this year. Because last year, they had to graph these lines absolutely perfectly to see where they crossed on the sheet of paper. So if you made one little mistake, or your dashes weren't exactly the same distance apart or anything like that, you would have been wrong by a little bit. Your lines would have come together x5. Okay? You guys are incredibly lucky because your calculator will tell you what the answer is right off the bat. You still will graph them out of your calculator just like we did the inequalities last chapter. So it's still going to be the same as far as that goes, but you have your answers right out of it. So if we had y equals x plus 2 as the first equation and y equals 4x minus 1 as your second equation, that's a system. That's the first system you've seen. There's two equations there. What's the goal when you're solving systems? Find where they intersect. Find where the two lines cross. So on your calculator, those are conveniently already solved for y. So what do we hit when we're ready to type the equation in? Y equals. Make sure your plots are turned off as always. Type in those two equations. Next to y1, you will type x plus 2. Go down, and next to y2, type your 4x minus 1. You got them in there. What do we hit after you got those typed in? We graph P, and hopefully all of your calculators are in the right mode and everything's set up right. You see the two lines graphed there. Once the two lines are graphed, you have these little boxes that pop up at the bottom. You want the POI, point of intersection. So if you've already pushed buttons and those boxes were gone, just hit graph again and they should turn back up. So how do we hit that POI? What button do we have to hit first? The alpha key. So it's alpha and then your zoom key for your POI. If you don't have it, I'll help you later. So right now, most of you do, it looks like. So it gives you the point of intersection right there at the bottom of your screen. What's your X point? And your Y. So you have a definite right answer right there. Again, last year you would have had to have plotted those two lines on a sheet of graph paper and hoped that you did it accurately enough to get your answer. Calculator question. Hold on. So that's your answer. Right there. That is the answer. That's where the two lines intersect. We didn't even have to graph anything on our paper. Now you do, though. You need to plot both of these lines to show on your paper where they intersect. This is just giving you, finding the 1, 3. You know that's the answer. So I don't want you just to sketch the two lines. Just look at your calculator and kind of throw a couple lines up here like that. That will not get you any points on your homework. You need to actually find points on the line and graph them both. It doesn't have to be incredibly neat. You don't even have to use graph paper as they did last year. But your XY axis need to be straight up and down, straight left and right, and your lines should be fairly straight. So how do we get points? We need to get exact points for both of those lines. Which buttons do we push to get those? You hit your second key and your graph key again. And it brings up your X on the left side, Y1 in the middle, and Y2 on the right. So looking at your calculator, these right here, the X and the Y1, those are points from this line. This is Y1, and this one is Y2. So that other column over there, that's the point off of the other line. So looking at your X and your Y1, what would be an easy point to graph? 0, 2. And what was the other one? Oh, that's off the other one.
0, 2.
Negative 1 what? We don't want anything from Y2 yet. Just looking at Y1. And you told me the first one was 0, 2. Just go down 1, and what's the next one down? 1, 3. So those are 2 points off of this first line. So you can go ahead and sketch that. It may be helpful for some of you to use colored pencils if you haven't. See if your two lines would be different color. So what are 2 points off of the X and the Y2 now? What? 0, -1 is on there. What's another one? Another point. What? 1, 3. Yeah, we did on the first one. So 1, 3, that's a point for both of them. And then just sketch this line through those two. So that's what your end result should look like. This is the point of intersection. So again, this is your answer, not the graph. We drew the graph to find out where those points were. All of your homework problems will be that way. Graph the 2 lines, see where they cross, and make a sketch. Now, that one was easy. That wasn't even the beginning problem. Those were already solved for y. Sometimes they won't be. 2x plus y equals 5 is the first line, and x minus y equals 1. So we have our 2 equations again, just like on the last example. What's the problem here? Yeah, so you take both of those equations separately and you solve them for y. So you could copy that first one over here and solve that one for y. What would you have to do to solve that one for y? That'd be finding intercept. Move the 2x. How do we do that? So minus 2x from both sides. So our equation is now y equals, right, negative 2x plus 5. So once you get to that point, there's no reason why you should miss any of these. Calculator will tell you the answer. So on the other one, x minus y equals 1. Subtract the x. So we have negative y equals what? Negative x plus 1. Now we can't have a negative y. You can divide or multiply by a negative 1. What is that going to do? Change what? All the signs. So at this point, if you don't show that step, I'm not too worried about it. You just know that all those signs are going to change. Okay. Multiplying or dividing by a negative is the step you use to do that. But at this level, most of us know that, so we change all the signs so that our y is now positive. It's about the only time in math where you can just change things and make them where you want.